Peter's at an airport waiting for Tony Stark to arrive. Hey boss, I thought you were gonna get some sleep. I had a last minute meeting to attend. At midnight? We don't exactly live in a 9 to 5 world, Peter. So what was the meeting about? It was a long-term planning session, aka the meeting with the Illuminati. But of course he can't tell Peter the real spiel. By the way, Peter, I brought version 2.0 of your suit. I made some more adjustments. Version 2.0? My suit's not even 24 hours old yet. Art is never finished, Peter. Only abandoned. Now I see why you're on version 47 of your Iron Man armor. 49. Whatever. And they take off on the PJ. So what's this closed hearing all about? The proposed Superhuman Registration Act. Haven't you been following the news? I've been too busy fighting crime and shit. Then he hands Peter a fat ass folder of the Superhuman Registration Act. You should read this before we land. You gotta be trolling. This is heavier than the last Harry Potter novel. Relax, the bill is only the first 30 pages. The rest of it is just extra bullshit. You don't really gotta worry about it right now. So Peter opens it and gets to reading. So this is the bill. And all this is from guys trying to get tax money for road improvements, fisheries, grants, and statues of Elvis. Exactly. Democracy. Gotta love it. Okay, I'll give you the top sheet. The Senate is under significant pressure to force people like us, people with powers, to register our real names with the government or face prosecution. You're kidding. You're not kidding. Are they crazy? How long do you think it will take any of the usual suspects to get their hands on that information? They say they can keep the information confidential. Oh yeah, of course, because we never had leaks before. Come on, man, are these guys nuts? No, Peter, they actually have a point. Nonetheless, the reason I'm going to Washington is to try to talk them out of it. And what if you can't talk them out of it? There are other options, but I'd rather avoid that route, if humanly or superhumanly possible. My hope is that we can reason our way out of this situation, because every single one of those other options are just downright ugly. And they finally arrived to Washington. Tony drops him off at the hotel, telling him to meet up here in 20 minutes. I say less. So he goes inside and pulls out his new suit.
Okay, Peter, here's a rundown of your new upgrades.
Now the fabric of the suit is made of liquid metal nanofibers, meaning he can now wear the suit under his regular clothes and it can camouflage itself. So with the suit on, it can look like he's wearing no shirt, or he can make it look like the OG fit. Even the symbiote suit, that shit is tough. And Peter like, I'm rocking with it.
I saved the best part for last. Now without moving your arms, think that you want to reach out and pick something up.
And when he does that, spider arms pop out the back of the suit. Holy
These arms can pick up things safely and look around corners, displaying the results to your eyepieces. They also have limited fighting capabilities, but they're pretty fragile, so only use them sparingly.
And you can see the little camera at the end of the arms. 20 minutes later, Peter meets up with Tony, ready to appear before Congress. Tony's a little bit nervous because shit's about to get serious. But on the way there, somebody is looking at them through a scope. No shot. Repeat, no shot. We'll reacquire the target later. Confirmed. And we see this armored up dude trying to assassinate Tony or Peter. Tony and Peter appear before Congress, and there's a whole lot of tension between the senator and Tony. After some sarcastic shit talk, the senator's like, who's this young man? This is Peter Parker, an associate of mine at Stark Industries. I hired him for his scientific expertise and his work as a photojournalist of superpowered heroes over the years. Hi, you will speak when you're spoken to, son. Yes, sir. Let's proceed. The chair recognizes Senator Whitmore. Mr. Stark, the presence within the United States of superhumans or superheroes, as some call them, was most pronounced in the years after the Second World War, starting around 1946. These individuals operating in disguise, their identities unknown, frequently engaged in brutal conflicts in which substantial damage was done to life and property. According to our estimates, from 1946 till now, these battles have incurred almost $200 billion in damages, costs that local and federal agencies had to absorb because we have no idea who to send the bill to. Let me repeat that number, Mr. Stark. $200 billion. What do you say to that number? My response to that number is another number. 47. 47? 47 what? 47 occasions on which superheroes prevented the entire North American continent from being vaporized, conquered, or nuked back into the Stone Age. The Department of Defense budget for 2006 alone is $419 billion. $200 billion over 60 years is $300 million per year. That's less than the Pentagon spent this year on just ceramic body armor. For saving the entire nation 47 times over? I think we're getting off cheap, Senator. That was a very pretty speech and all, but it didn't really address the point. We all make mistakes, don't we? Yes, sir. So these self-proclaimed heroes also make mistakes. Yes, sir. And don't you think they should be held accountable for those mistakes? Doctors have to register with the AMA. Pilots have to register with the FAA. Hell, even taxi drivers have to register with the DMV. So if there's an accident, they can be held accountable for their actions. If a cab driver has to register in case there's a fender bender, why should we exempt individuals who do such tremendous damage? Well, Mr. Stark, do you have an answer for that? Tony looks down. No, Senator. I'm afraid I don't. Peter's like, bro, and raises his hand. Does anyone object to hearing from Mr. Parker? From Mr. Parker? Very well, go ahead. And he cooks up a counter argument, letting the senators know if their identities were revealed, it would put their loved ones at risk. In their personal moments, the bad guys could harm them or their families. And there won't be anyone to stop them the 48th time this country is in jeopardy. Police officers, prosecutors, judges, they all go through the same shit. What keeps our democracy honest is that we don't operate behind masks. But those people chose that job. Most superheroes never asked for their powers, never even wanted them. But once they had them, they knew they had to do what was right, in a system that would never allow them to operate openly. They're trying to help, Senator, but if that's true, wouldn't it be simpler if they could register privately and securely with an agency that would allow them to do what you describe openly and legally? If you were, say, Ant-Man, wouldn't it be a comfort to you to know that the government and the police were your ally, not your enemy? If anything, you may have just made the most compelling case of all for just the kind of registration we're debating here today. Don't you agree? I probably shouldn't say anything else. I agree. Then I suggest a 10-minute recess. Tony's like, Peter, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. When dealing with lawyers and politicians, never volunteer too much information. You spoke the truth of power today, which is very unusual in this place. After he gets on the phone with MJ, telling her everything. Then him and Tony go back into the room and they're talking to Congress for 4 hours and 15 minutes. And Tony's trying to explain to them if they pass this bill, it's gonna cause a civil war because some heroes are not gonna sign this shit. Is that a threat, Mr. Stark? And whose side would you be on? I'll always serve my country, and no matter the sentence, that will never change. And they finally decide to stop chatting for today and to resume tomorrow at 9 a.m. And when they walk outside, there's mad cameras and reporters. And they talk about where they're finna eat, but Peter's spider senses go off. Down! Dodging a sniper bullet. We gotta get out of here, boss. We got to boom! Do not move. Great. It's the Titanium Man, and he stands before Tony and Peter, saying that he's here to kill Stark. My employers have given me instructions to avoid collateral damage if at all possible. But if you wish to die, please stay where you are. I have no preference. Peter tells Tony to go, and he shoots a web at Titanium Man's face. What? I can't see! There! Now to finish this. That's funny. I was thinking exactly the same thing. Cosmic, huh? This is not your concern. And Titanium Man shoots a blast at Spider-Man, but he easily jumps over that shit. Concerned? I'm not concerned. I do this for fun. And he sits on Titanium Man's shoulders. So he flies back into a wall, smashing Peter into it. Ow, man. I don't have time for this. And he punches Spider-Man in the jaw. The army and the police then pull up. Spider-Man and some guy are attacking the Senate building. Peter like, what? And hits Titanium Man with the uppercut. Does it look like we're pals? Open fire! And they start shooting at both of them. But Peter jumps up and the bullets hit Titanium Man, but they just bounce off his suit. He then tries to fly away, but Peter's like, oh no you don't, and attaches a web on him. This isn't over, buddy. This fight is just starting. And he flies up with him. We gonna end it right here. We got one more chapter until Civil War begins. Let me know what y'all thought about this chapter, and I'm gonna see y'all boys and girls next time.